Good evening and welcome to the 624th episode of Travel Itch. I'm Dan Schlossberg and we are in the 15th season of Travel Itch Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair. Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and hospitality. From authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists, if it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travel Itch. Our guest tonight is travel writer Cindy Godage. Welcome back, Cindy, to Travel Itch Radio.
Thank you so much for having me, Dan.
Well, it's great to have you. It's great to see you on our new video cast.
I
Cindy,
love it.
We write about off the beaten track destinations and something called agricultural preservation, which is a new one to me. Would you mind enlightening our viewers?
Sure. Agricultural preservation is just kind of saving agricultural history. Back when our grandmas and grandpas were alive, everybody had a farm, and there were all kinds of agricultural companies and museums, and a lot of that, even just in the 40 some years I've been married to my husband, who is a farmer, things have changed. And so I think it's really important to preserve. It's such a part of Americana, and I think it's really important to try to preserve that history, and it's one of my goals to try to share that with my audience.
Well, now that you're a two-time grandmother and are officially retired, do you have more time to travel?
I do. My husband actually just retired from farming too, so I'm not going to let a whole lot of dust settle under our feet.
Do you prefer trying new places or returning to old favorites?
That's really a hard question, Dan, because there are some places that just call you back time and time again, like Amana Colonies. It's a big favorite of our family, but I don't want to stay in one place too long because there's too many things to see and life is too short. I really want to see more of America. There are so many things on my bucket list. I know I'll never get to be able to touch the soil of every place I want to see in my lifetime, sadly.
Well, we did a show earlier this year on Route 66, and obviously you've been there too. Tell us about your experience.
I really actually live near Route 66, so I have a lot of it in my own backyard. We were just part of a group that just did a mural in Verdon, Illinois. There was a gentleman named Stan Lomlinu who had a lot of drag racing history, and another racer, Joe Hendrickson. So that's kind of a unique Route 66 history. Springfield, Illinois, there's the Cozy Dog Drive-In, where the Cozy Dog was invented, or at least that's what they call it. And there's so much just right here in Illinois, so many little quirky fun stops. And I'm looking forward to this July going with Danelle Gay, the traveling cheesehead, and she and I are going to do a Route 66 road trip. And I've never been on the whole road trip. I've been to some fun places in Missouri and a few like the one that you just showed in Pittsburgh, Kansas. So I've had a little bit of Route 66 history outside of Illinois, but most of it has been pretty local for me.
And where is this?
That is Fort Dodge, Iowa. Oh, wait a minute. That looks like Fort Dodge, but I think that is in Kansas. It was one of the stops in I think it was in Salina. I think it's Salina, Kansas. They have a lot of just amazing public art there. And there is another by the same artist, which sadly I'm having a brain freeze on his name, that he did do some other grain bins like this in Fort Dodge, Iowa as well. Isn't that a pretty amazing use?
I love this picture too. Is that one of your old cars?
No, I wish it was one of my old cars. Isn't that fun? We do have an old Chevy though, an old Chevy truck, a 1950 Chevy truck that we have, and we do have a lot of old iron here on the farm.
Okay, and I love this picture too.
Isn't that fun? That was in Chattanooga, on the not top of the rock. It was on one of the sites outside of Chattanooga. Lookout Mountain. It was Lookout Mountain.
Okay. And I know that you love this vehicle.
Isn't that fun? That was an interview I got to do with a country music singer, and I was very excited to. She did a concert for some FFA kids, and I had the privilege of getting to interview Mackenzie Phillips, and she was wonderful.
And I know you love animals because here's the evidence.
That was fun on an agricultural press trip in Kansas. It was an ag trip, and that was goat yoga. They were very interactive.
And more goats.
Yes, we got to go on a hike as well after we did yoga. It was great fun.
And longhorns, you got to be careful there.
You are so right. That was on a ranch in Kansas that I got to stay in. And I love to be able to stay at unique places and profile them on my website, Traveling Adventures of a Farm Girl.
And horses too. Is that a horse or a cow?
That one's a cow.
Okay. Hard to tell because it had his head turned away. Okay. How about press trips versus individual travel? What is your preference?
I enjoy them both because the press trips, the advantage of a press trip is I feel like you get to know other writers, and it's always fascinating to me to see things through their eyes, because you can take a group of five writers and everyone will see something different. You can have the very same agenda, but get 5 different stories. That's one reason that I really feel like destinations really benefit by bringing a group of travel writers to a place, because you can get different stories. I know I always have people tell me that I can find agricultural history or a tractor someplace no one else ever would. I remember being in Dallas and finding one, at a farmer's market. And it's just amazing what you see, just like you would find baseball history that I might never see. And then on individual trips, it's nice because you can go at a slower pace. And if there's something that you're wanting to see that wasn't on the agenda, you can make time to go and see the things that are of a personal interest to you.
And I know you have great adventures because here you are preparing food.
Actually, we were making soap. Isn't that very cool?
Oh, okay.
It looks like food, though. I guess it is. It is a preparation, though.
I think the tablecloth threw me off.
I can see that. I can see why.
Round barn, beautiful shot.
Isn't that beautiful? I did an ebook about agricultural places to stop, and this is Ryan's Round Barn. It's in Northern Illinois, and it's one of the most beautiful architectural structures that I've ever seen. If you see it's pretty from the inside, if you think it's pretty from the inside, you should see it if you think it's pretty from the outside, you should see the amazing structure inside.
And this is amazing to me because it's a pink tractor.
Isn't that fun? Yes, it was a pink tractor. That is down in Kentucky, between the lakes, Kentucky, and that was in front of a store called the Pink Tractor, and that's one that they modified to their own colors. And sometimes you do see pink tractors also painted in honor of breast cancer survivors.
Okay, foreign or domestic travel, which do you prefer?
I haven't got a chance to do near as much foreign travel as I would like, but I love it all. I really have been amazed by all the things here in the States that I haven't seen. I really want to get to the redwoods, are a big thing on my list. And like I said, this summer, I'm going to be doing a Route 66 trip from Chicago all the way to California. So that's something I've always wanted to do. So there's so many beautiful places just right in our own backyard, but there's so many foreign places. Paris was probably my favorite trip of all time. You just can't find the history, I guess, here that you can find there. So each place has its own unique things that make you enjoy it and want to come back again and again.
Cornfield?
It is. I was at a corn picker festival. Everyone had their vintage combines out, and it was a chance to be outstanding in my field, literally.
And here's another tractor picture. Oh, we showed this one before.
Yes, but anytime I
But
can get, I write for Antique Tractor magazines, and so it's really nice to be able to profile some of the different different publications that I write for.
I love seeing new and hearing about new publications. Obviously, here's one, Farm
Yes,
World, right?
You're correct. This is Farm World, and I write a column called Wrenching Tales, WRENCHIN, like old iron. And this particular story right here was about a wonderful barn in Fairfield, Iowa, and it was about the history of the Percherons at that site. And I also write for Green Magazine, which is a John Deere publication. I write for Red Power, which is a farm haul publication. I write for Toy Farmer about farm toys, and I write for Senior News and Times. It's a mature audience publication, and I write a little bit of everything for them. Then I also have my blog, Traveling Adventures of a Farm Girl, as well.
And we're talking with travel writer Cindy Ladage. Cindy, you must have a long list of favorites: cities, states, countries, airlines, restaurants, and more. Anybody to whom you'd like to give a shout out?
Yes, I kind of wouldn't mind giving a shout out to Doc's in Girard, Illinois. It's a restaurant, and it was formerly a drugstore, and they have an amazing pharmaceutical museum there. And the owner, Casey, is also the director of Illinois Scenic Drive, and they really do a good job bringing in visitors. Route 66 draws people from all around the world, and the Sly Fox. It's a wonderful independent bookstore in Virden, Illinois. There's a lot of fun places to see just right here in our own neck of the woods. There's a lot of wonderful restaurants. Horseshoes are it's a menu that was invented in Springfield. It is basically a piece of bread with meat, with French fries, and then cheese sauce. And it's famous for a lot of restaurants in Springfield, Illinois. You can find it almost everywhere. They even have a horseshoe trail, and they also have a lot of breakfast. Like at Charlie Parker's, they have a horseshoe breakfast. So that's a couple of the places that are local and near and dear to my heart.
And I know that we mentioned other animals. We've got to mention this dog, though. I love dogs.
I like dogs too. Isn't that a cute dog?
That's great. That's great. And you take wonderful pictures. Where is this bridge?
Oh boy, I don't remember that one right now. It was on one of the trails that I walked on. That might have been in Wayne County, Missouri, possibly.
And how about this cabin?
That was in Kansas. That was one of the unique tree houses that I got to stay in. Last year, I had an epic journey going through a lot of the agricultural sites in Kansas. And that was one of the tree houses, a very deluxe tree house that I got to stay in.
Cindy, I know you worked for the state of Illinois. What did you do for them?
I worked for the state of Illinois part-time for many years. My first job with the state was with the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. Then I moved over to the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, and I was a radon lady. Radon is a gas that comes from the ground, and it's considered the second leading cause of lung cancer following smoking. So I helped spread the word that you should test your home for radon, and if you have radon, you should try to reduce your radon levels.
And how did you get into travel journalism?
I got into travel journalism. I worked part-time for the state, and I was able to write at the same time. And when I retired from the state, when I turned 55, I was able to retire. And at that time, I was like, I've been going a lot of places and haven't really been able to profile. In 2012, I started my blog, Traveling Adventures of a Farm Girl, because a lot of publications only want 800 words, and they don't want stories about that little museum you stopped at or that mom and pop restaurant. So I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to profile these museums and these people and places that, especially those out of the way places, I wanted to make sure that they got profiled.
And occasionally you get a chance for a break, and here's one.
Yes, that was actually in Oregon, Illinois. It was at it's called Andy's Garden Tractor Jamboree, and he had a swing set, and they have garden tractors every year. They have a big show, and that was me having a little fun.
Our viewers would like to know whether you write on the road or only at home, and do you take regular notes while you're on assignment?
I do. I take notes. I do both. Sometimes I'll do a video interview, and other times I take notes, and I write. I do write on the road. I like to, if I'm not too tired when I get done at the end of the day, I like to try to capture. I usually wait to publish things till I get home, though. So I'll kind of draft and then try to come home and make sure that it's clean before I publish it.
And you've been to some national parks too, right?
Yes, I have. One of my favorite is just in Southern Illinois. The Shawnee Forest is an amazing national park. That's right, just like 3.5 hours. Southern Illinois is really almost more like Kentucky or Tennessee than Central Illinois. I live in the flatlands. We have beautiful, some of the best soil here, right in the middle of the U.S. But the rolling hills down south are amazing.
So showing some beautiful pictures of you with a tractor.
Oh, thank you. That's actually one of our own.
Oh, okay. And here's a different shot of you.
Besides being a member of North American Travel Journalists, I'm also a member of the Midwest Travel Network. And at their conference, something that they did that was really nice was they actually took some headshots. So that was one of the headshots from one of my previous conferences.
Great shot. Nice dress too.
Oh, thank you. I like color.
I was going to mention you're an active member of North American Travel Journalists Association, which is how I know you.
That's true.
And that started with just a handful of members 35 years ago in January.
Wow.
How has the organization helped you?
It has helped me. One of the biggest, most pivotal things that happened with that was I had just entered the writing competition, and I had won a bronze, and my dad had passed away. And you guys were having the annual meeting down in Puerto Vallarta. And I have a friend that's a flight attendant, and she helped me kind of navigate through the flights and stuff. And she came with me as a guest on that. And winning that award and just getting the chance to go and meet all the people, that really made me realize how important it is to get education and to meet and network with other travel writers. And NACHA has always been so supportive. Something that especially touches my heart was I've tried to get to a couple of the different meetings, and 2 years ago in Galveston, my daughter was ill and I wasn't able to come. And then last year I had a bout of kidney cancer and wasn't able to come. And they've allowed me to turn over that each year. And I'm determined to make it to Little Rock this year. So the education, but most of all, the compassion and the caring that they have shown me personally at the North American Travel Journalist has just really touched my heart.
Have you been to other events like IPW?
I've been to a Midwest Travel Journalist, and I've been to a couple of the Midwest Travel Networks conferences, and then Women in disband the well.
Okay. We're talking with travel writer Cindy Ladage. Cindy, how far in advance do you make your travel plans and what's upcoming for 2026?
I really try to map out, especially some of the agricultural travel. One of the most popular items on my blog is my antique tractor calendar. And we do try to map out, because if you don't plan ahead for events like this, big events, you might not be able to have a hotel. And I like to and so many things happen at the same time. One of the exciting, I've also the Southern Travelers Network. They're having at the end of February. I'm going to their conference in New Orleans, so that is a travel ahead, and I have a trip planned to the Red Power Roundup in June, and in July I'm doing the Route 66 trip, and then I have several other. And then, of course, in May, I'm looking very forward to going to North Little Rock to the North American Travel Journalist this year. So that's some of the, some of the upcoming travel that I have planned, and lots of antique tractor shows on my list as well.
How has travel journalism changed since you started? I know there are far fewer print pages or even newspapers that buy travel stories.
Yes, that's true. There's a lot of places that I used to write for in print that are no longer publishing. I have been really blessed to write for Senior News for almost 30 years now. The editor that was there passed, but the lady that was the graphic artist, Loretta Prindle, she purchased, and she has kept Linda Keeler's memory alive through the publication. And I've had a couple turnovers in some of the publications that I write for, but Green Magazine and Red Power have been longtime publications as well. But I do find a lot more online writing opportunities. So that's one of the things that has opened up, and the opportunity to write for maybe other people's blogs and for some of the online publications. But you're right, it's got a little harder to compete in some of the print publications because they're fewer and farther between.
Cindy, talk about your books a little bit.
Okay. My latest book was Farm Girl Adventures, and it was a compilation of fiction stories that I wrote over the years. And I have another book that should be coming out from the same publisher, House of Honor, and it is going to be called True Farm Girl Adventures. And it is talking about different things that I've done. Some of that I profiled somewhat in my blog. Only to more extent, opportunities and wonderful adventures that I've been able to have. And then I also have an ebook with agricultural adventures. It's a travel ebook on different places that you can go. It's got 18 places profiled in it. So, and then I've also wrote other fiction books over the years.
And I'd love to hear about your awards. I know you've won some.
I've won a few. I won a third place and a bronze with NACHA. I've won a couple awards through Women in Communications, and I won a rural writing award for my blog.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Your biography always starts with the words, "I'm a farmer's wife." Has living and working on a farm separated you from most of your fellow travel journalists?
I think, kind of like I was saying earlier, everyone uses their own experiences and kind of looks through places that they travel in with different eyes. So I think I like to go to certain museums and experience some events that maybe other writers would not. And that's one of the things that going to a destination, I'm interested in that orchard and that old farm inn sitting over in the corner. I'm interested in the process, that the agricultural history that might have existed. I'm always excited to see different kinds of crops and different agricultural history places that I go. So I think that has made my writing a little bit unique. I'm one of the few women agricultural writers. There's not a lot of us. So that's made a little bit of who I am and what I do a little bit different.
And I love the title of your blog, Traveling Adventures of a Farm Girl. How did you come up with it, and how often do you put out new material?
I try to put out something new every few weeks, and it's a lot of fun. And I came up with the name because that's really who I am. I'm a farmer's wife and that loves to travel, and I like to share my adventures. So that's really how it all came about. And I'm all about the back roads and the places that don't get the attention that I always think that they deserve.
We're talking with Cindy Ladage, travel writer, author, and farm girl. In your opinion, Cindy, what is the most challenging part of being a travel journalist?
The most challenging part is just balancing everything and finding time to get to all the places that you want to go. That's time is the biggest challenge, huh? And
We agree. We certainly agree. And when I was in journalism school at Syracuse, I never even knew there was such a thing as travel writing or even a newspaper travel section. Is your experience similar?
yes, it really is. My degree is biology. I have a BA in biology and a minor in botany. And then I decided when I was a little older, I went back and I got a master in communications and tried to focus a little bit more on trying to communicate, because I always wanted to write, but I didn't know if you would be able to make a living at it. And I used to be more interested in the fiction aspect when I was younger. And then when I saw all the wonderful places that you could go, and I really got into the antique tractor stuff when my husband started going to these antique tractor events, and I started tagging along with him and learning all the stories about people farming and their farm equipment and how much it all meant to them. And so yeah, I really didn't realize that I knew about journalism, but the travel aspect of it was not something that I really focused on and learned as much about until I got older. I always wanted to travel, but didn't realize that it would be such a joy to share the places and the people and their stories with others.
Do you take pictures when you travel? I'm sure you do.
Yes. Yes, I certainly do. I
Like
take
that one.
I take a lot of my photos, and I'm really blessed to have a husband that's a good photographer as well.
That was one of the prerequisites, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. He's braver than I am. He'll say, "Would you move that over here and stand to the left and move to the right?" And he's always all about getting the perfect shot, and I just want to get it and try to capture the moment. There are so many things to see, and it's just there fleeting. A lot of times it's gone.
Has travel changed your opinion of the world?
It really has. And that's one place where I have to say that foreign travel really opened my eyes in so many ways, because the history in Europe and other places dates back so much farther than our history here in America, that it gave me a different perception of what old really is. And, when you're looking at a church built in medieval times compared to one built 200 years ago, it really makes you realize how long we've been around and how things have changed and not changed over the years.
Cindy, what advice would you give a young journalist thinking of becoming a travel writer?
I would tell them to pursue their dream, because when you are doing something you love, it's not work. But I would also tell them to try to find a niche, something that interests them, because when you can find places to put your stories when you have a unique calling. Just like for me with the tractors and the agriculture, I can always find somewhere. If I can find a machine, I can place a story about it. So no matter what it is, whether it's baseball, like Is Your Love, or whether it's mountain climbing or fishing, whatever it is somebody is passionate about, I think follow your passion, because if you are following your passion, doors will open for you, because your passion will show in your writing.
Is there anything that I haven't asked that you'd like to add?
I guess just be true to yourself and stay authentic, and always put your family first, because time passes so quickly and our loved ones are not always going to be here. So enjoy your friends and your family, and put that first and foremost in your life.
Well said. Our guest this evening on Travel Itch has been travel writer Cindy Ladage. Thank you, Cindy, for joining us on Travel Itch.
Thank you so much, Dan, for having me, and I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in May at NACHA.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
And that's
you.
it for this edition of Travel Itch. Next week, we'll talk to another travel writer, Abby Algiers, about golf travel. Now, this is Dan Schlossberg saying thank you for your time this time. Until next time, good night.
Good night.